The day 50 Cent dropped his Netflix documentary on Diddy, every headline in hip-hop pointed at one man. But the most important moment in that entire story had nothing to do with Sean Combs. Within days of the doc going live, a cease-and-desist letter landed on 50 Cent's legal team's desk, and it didn't come from Diddy's camp. It came from Jay-Z's. That single letter, sent by the most powerful man in the music industry, told the world something that no courtroom, no press conference, and no album ever could. Something in those files made someone very powerful feel very exposed. And that is exactly where this story begins.
Jay-Z, you're just like Diddy. I can't stand your arrogant, condescending attitude. Nicki posted a video of you wearing a pink wig, and I retweeted it. Nothing more. You deserved it. Everyone knows about our feud. It's been going on for over 20 years. I've seen all your manipulation in the industry, from power struggles to cultural control. In 2015, when Tidal launched, Nicki helped you build it from nobody to a successful platform, and you immediately pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. Lil Wayne was qualified for the Super Bowl, but you kicked him out of personal grudges. How is that any different from Diddy forcing his artists to sign unfair contracts? Just because Nicki didn't align with him, he resorts to this kind of suppression. You're truly despicable. What's even more interesting is that right after I showed him and his father's photo in the documentary Sean Combs: The Reckoning, you immediately had your lawyer send me a warning letter saying I overstepped my bounds. When you wrote the lyrics to exonerate Diddy back then, why didn't you think about today? You say the film is malicious slander, but why don't you dare sue me for defamation? Because all the evidence I have is true. I haven't finished reporting the witnesses in my documentary, and I haven't released all the Tidal profit sharing documents. If you know what's good for you, pay back what you owe Nicki with interest. Don't wait until I make Jay-Z Reckoning 2, by which time even Beyonce's PR team won't be.
It goes, let's get it straight. Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent.
I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
At that point, his safe presentation, even the glasses, what the glasses represent? Intelligence, right? A nerd. What are some of the things that come along with you being a nerd? Like, don't hit a guy before I. He's not identifying with the transition and difference and the perception of Jay-Z. Now he's safe, and people feel comfortable with him because they know he's not going to do anything inappropriate or try not to. Meanwhile, when he's saying he's not afraid of 50 Cent, why would you have to make that clear when no one's asked me if I'm...
To understand why that letter even existed, you have to go back and look at what Jay-Z and Diddy actually built together. Not the curated version you see on magazine covers, but the real architecture of a two-decade power alliance that the industry watched and mostly said nothing about. These were not casual associates who showed up at the same parties. For the better part of 30 years, Jay-Z and Sean Combs operated as parallel pillars of the same structure, collaborating on records, circulating in the same protected circles, and, according to multiple industry insiders who have spoken publicly, actively working in ways that preserved each other's market dominance when it mattered most. For most of that time, that proximity read like mutual respect between two self-made titans. By late 2024, it read like something far more complicated. A civil lawsuit filed that year named both men as defendants, alleging that they had sexually assaulted a then 13-year-old girl at a VMA afterparty in the year 2000. Let's be absolutely clear, these are allegations, disputed by Jay-Z personally, denied by his legal team, and not proven in any court of law. Jay called the lawsuit a coordinated blackmail attempt and described it publicly as one of the most devastating things ever done to him and his family. His attorneys filed aggressively to have him removed from the case. A judge initially denied that motion. The case was later voluntarily dismissed by the accuser in early 2025, and Jay-Z publicly framed that outcome as a complete exoneration. But here's what the dismissal didn't erase: the image problem. 50 Cent moved in the moment the dismissal was announced. He circulated old lyrics Jay had written, alleging that the language in those bars appeared to insulate or excuse Diddy at a time when none of this was publicly scrutinized. Whether that interpretation of those lyrics is accurate is entirely disputed. What is not disputed is 50's public statement that followed. If you know what's good for you, pay Nicki back what you owe her with interest. Don't wait until I make Jay-Z a Reckoning Part 2. That was a deliberate escalation, and it was designed to land exactly the way it did.
Even though Jay's lawyer came out and said they're not Because Jay-Z and Puff was given an assignment. And that was to destroy East Coast rap. And what I mean by that, and I know people gonna be like, yo, Gene is out of his mind and everything like that. Check this out, brother. Is that New York rappers was getting 80 to 100, 800 to 1.2 million, or some larger than that, and to sign with labels back then. And they was getting a lot of money to make albums and records. When they had guys down south that these labels was paying $250,000, $300,000 on record deals, and these guys was bringing back platinum albums and everything like that. So what they had to do was they had to keep New York rappers down. That's one reason, other than the Irv Gotti that 50 was going through and the poison they was putting in about 50, he had to go elsewhere to California or with Jay and not with Dre and Eminem to get a deal. They did not want East Coast rappers to get big. They were suppressing all new artists that was coming out of New York. Jay and Diddy was doing that. That's why when I heard your story, because I knew this for a long time, but when I heard Dame Dash that Jay wouldn't sign off on nothing, Jay wouldn't do this and Jay would that, because he couldn't let a Cameron blow up. He couldn't let an East Coast rapper like Beanie Siegel blow up. Because him and Diddy was giving that deal, we got to keep these East Coast rappers down. Because down south rappers, Cash Money, No Limit, Ludacris and them, they was taking little money and bringing back more money and making more money for them. So the record labels, I wouldn't say they was going to lose off the East Coast.
And that's where the deeper story really opens up, because the challenge to Jay-Z's image didn't start with 50 Cent, and it certainly wasn't manufactured in a vacuum. Industry insiders, commentators, and people who were physically inside those boardrooms during the early 2000s have alleged for years that Jay-Z and Diddy didn't just benefit from the music industry's power structure. According to those accounts, they helped maintain it, specifically by allegedly acting as unofficial gatekeepers who controlled which New York artists got access to major label infrastructure and which ones didn't. These are reported allegations, not proven in court, not confirmed by any label executive on record. But the voices making them are not anonymous internet accounts. They are people with receipts, real names, and careers that were directly affected by the decisions made in those rooms.
They signed his contract. The big one was with Beyonce. Mm-hmm. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
wow. This guy. Oh, wow. You're gonna let him say that? Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
He has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on. You're not wrong.
He was one. After that, he got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures with him like fucking things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't sing.
He deserved those.
I'm sitting there, it's like this, like Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch.
Oh,
Like,
I hate you, man.
Unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you niggas this year. Yeah. Come on, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy. He just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation prayer. Like, is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out. What the fuck is that? Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh wow! So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
Now here's what shifts this whole conversation from industry gossip to something with real financial weight. Because the Tidal situation is where the allegations stop being about the past and start being about money that allegedly hasn't been paid. When Jay-Z launched Tidal in April 2015, the pitch was revolutionary on paper. This wasn't a corporate streaming platform owned by tech billionaires. This was artist-owned, artist-powered, and Jay brought in some of the most powerful names in music as equity shareholders to prove it. Nicki Minaj was among them, reportedly taking a 3% ownership stake. For years, the platform battled Spotify and Apple Music for market share, picked up some ground, lost some ground, and eventually pivoted its strategy. Then, in 2021, Jay-Z sold Tidal to Jack Dorsey's Square in a deal reportedly valued at $302 million. That number is the entire argument, because what Nicki Minaj says happened next is not a small disagreement about contract language. According to her public statements, she was offered just $1 million for her stake. Based on the reported total sale value and her 3% ownership, some independent calculations put her potential payout significantly higher, and Nicki herself has publicly stated she is owed $200 million. She did not say this quietly or through a lawyer. She broadcast it. And then came the pink wig. Nicki posted and retweeted a mocking image of Jay-Z in a pink wig, and 50 Cent amplified it immediately to an audience of over 40 million people. Whether this was strategic coordination or two people reacting to the same grievance at the same time is unclear, but the effect was identical. Jay-Z responded through silence and through attorneys. The financial dispute has never been transparently resolved. The $200 million claim has never been publicly rebutted with disclosed documents. And the fact that 50 Cent now had Nicki Minaj, one of the most followed artists on earth, publicly aligned with his narrative about Jay-Z was not a coincidence anyone in the industry could afford to ignore.
I say to divorce Jay-Z as soon as possible because I'm ready to shoot a documentary about Jay-Z, and I guarantee it will outgross Diddy's documentary. If Beyonce sends me a legal letter on behalf of Jay-Z, I remind her to stay quiet. This is a dispute between men, and she has no right to interfere. I have to let everyone see the true face of Jay-Z. Jay-Z and Diddy have been longtime friends, and their business dealings never stopped. He frequently attended Diddy's parties, so why do people think he's innocent? Jay-Z and Diddy got involved in the same case in 2024, where a victim claimed she was assaulted by both Jay-Z and Diddy. I remember Jay-Z saying these were all rumors and that he was defending Diddy. But ironically, Diddy got arrested in 2025. And there's enough evidence to count his crimes on one hand. I've known him for 20 years, and I know how many bad things they've done behind the scenes. After Jay-Z founded his company, he repeatedly got into copyright disputes. In 1999, he was convicted of third-degree assault and served time in prison. He was unfaithful to Beyonce, and he was caught by Beyonce's sister. I think everyone has seen the footage of him getting beaten up in the elevator. I've already gathered the evidence, and I'm going to give Jay-Z.
Before I forget this, we talked about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy a lot.
No, that was a real suburb question.
I know, right? Proximity.
Hold on. And the proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word. I had to learn that.
Do you think he fucking knew all of the shit that was going on? Yeah, that was like a...
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it,
like I said,
no matter how you answer that shit, you snitching.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a narc kind of question.
You asked the question like a fan.
Hey, I grew up with white people, but one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
But it's a great question.
Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro.
He said, damn, they wasn't even drinking.
Speaking of, how the hell you pronounce
Le Chemin de Roi.
Okay.
It's the King's Path.
King's Path.
Chemin de Roi.
Because I know Branson.
Yeah.
That's the one I pronounce.
Branson. That's the Branson lifestyle. You know, be outside.
Biff, you're not worried that if you throw little and you don't throw out allegations, but like you kind of poke fun at them.
You just ask questions.
You're not worried that it comes back your way? Like people dig up your past and try to pull stuff up?
I don't got that shit in my past. I'm not.
Everybody got a little bit.
Look,
Like,
I took.
not that it's real
no,
enough. But
I took a pill, but it was for me to perform better. For her to remember, buddy. I didn't fucking give her a drink so she forget what the fuck happened. What the fuck is going on here, bro? Yes, I took the drink. I gave me the fucking drug to perform. So she can remember and possibly love me for that.
Did it work? Did it work?
What the fuck? This is, yo, bro, look, I'm doing pretty good. Like, I'm pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just saying, you said it's the opposite of normal shit that we're talking about, bro.
That is why. I don't know why it's so hard for people
So
to just
for people to
acknowledge
feel
weird
like
shit is
you
weird.
would have something or you would have reserved in.
And just when you think the Super Bowl chapter is simply about a halftime show, it isn't. This is actually a story about who controls the most valuable door in American entertainment and what it costs when you're on the wrong side of it. In 2019, Jay-Z's Roc Nation signed a partnership with the NFL that was reportedly worth $25 million over 5 years, giving his company direct creative input over the Super Bowl halftime show. The deal was quietly renewed in 2024. What that means in practice is not ambiguous. Jay-Z had, by confirmed accounts, the decisive voice in determining who performs on the biggest televised stage in the country. Super Bowl 59 was scheduled for February 2025 in New Orleans, Louisiana. Lil Wayne was born in New Orleans. His entire origin story, his entire early career, the mythology that built his fan base, it all runs through that city. Wayne campaigned publicly for the spot. He talked about it in interviews. He made his desire known in a way that was impossible to misread. The halftime show went to Kendrick Lamar. Halftime show producer Jesse Collins confirmed in a public statement, and this is his direct quote, "Jay-Z decided the lineup." 5 words. The internet detonated. Nicki Minaj went public with her reaction. Cameron went further, directly accusing Jay-Z of blocking Wayne out of personal animosity connected to Jay's long-running tension with Birdman, the Cash Money founder who controlled Wayne's early career. Fabulous weighed in publicly. These weren't random commentators. These were people with direct knowledge of how this industry operates, and they were all pointing at the same person making the same type of decision for what they alleged were the same type of reasons.
Do you need anything? None of the people that have vocalized that another man, and to me, again, that whole conversation's a bit feminine. But if you're going to say some like that, you should have actually done something to help the problem. But I never got the call from Ray saying, do you need anything? And anyone else that I've ever given, paid a bill, paid their rent, paid their college, any dollar, not one person, and I don't want them to, because they know I'm all right. But not one person has called and said, yo, could I send you something to help? But I don't need the help. But if you're going to talk about it, be about it. But to me, that's just a jab when you tell and promote a false narrative and say that I'm in such a bad place that another dude should help me. And that my tail's in between my legs to the extent because of a lawsuit that I would actually take that money. I'm a man. I don't want nobody to give me nothing but the opportunity to do what I got to do. And I don't see no opportunity. I don't want to perform for the Super Bowl. I'm not all right with the NFL. I'm still mad it ain't no black owners. We went from kneeling to being happy when we could perform for them. That wasn't what I was about. I was about ownership of our own league and taking pride in that. I'm not a court jester for everybody else to get good ratings. I know what we're being used for, and I'm not cool with that. So it's a big deal is to jump on a stage for a bunch of white owners? No, that's embarrassing to me. It's a spectacle. They're laughing at us. Like being tatted on the back by another culture is not how I judge my success. Only person that has the audacity to pat me on my back is my family. And they better, I'd be like, you better chill out. I don't want no pats on the back. I don't play that. I'm not in the patty pat club on no level.
I feel you. But speaking of the NFL, I know right now Nicki Minaj, she calling out Jay. And I know Colin Kaepernick's wife, she called out Jay saying that, Jay did her husband wrong. But I don't know. I don't know the backstory behind that, man. But I know it's going, viral right now on social media. But I do want to ask you, how do you feel about the NFL right now in general?
It's funny. She's cool. She's cool with my wife, Rocky. I think
Artists around 50 Cent describe him as present and reachable, while Jay-Z is often depicted as distant and untouchable.
He was doing it too. This is people that are looking on the separation between their hardships or their the things that they got going on that would be issues, and what a celebrity's issues would be.
Wait, what does that mean?
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, and when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip-hop culture could think that everybody in hip-hop culture is with that shit.
So by you, you're good, bro. You're fucking good.
Yeah.
He's protecting hip-hop.
Yeah.
If you don't speak out and make them the weirdos, then they're going to think everybody's like that.
Every single person is like that involved in hip-hop culture.
Makes you think, did Jay do it?
Shut up. He's in trouble. We live in New York, bro.
No.
We live here.
No.
Free Jay-Z.
I'm just saying.
Shout out Mufasa. We all gonna go and support. Yo, we can all see. You are crazy. That was the craziest thing. I literally.
What's the lady at Rock Nation? I gotta send her that.
You don't feel like that happened the same day, bro. What's the day came out the day before the next day?
I was eating Raisin Bran. Okay, I'm eating Raisin Bran. I got my daughter in my arm. I'm scrolling, right? I see somebody screenshot your shit. Is Jay and the whole family at the Mufasa Fair, and then the comment is 50 Cent. Jay said, they said I the 13-year-old. Let's go watch Mufasa.
Everybody get dressed. We're going to see Mufasa right now. I just think it was a good look, like angling yourself as
a family man.
Yes.
But they had to go to the premiere,
that
bro.
was planned already. I'm pretty
bro. And I realized that later, but I'm just saying to you, I haven't seen him in a long time. That's all I'm saying. When I hadn't seen him in a long time, and then I heard this shit, and then I looked and I saw Mufasa, I said, whoa. That's all that fucking happened, bro. You think this is at my phone? This is my phone. This is happening at real time. I'm going, yo. He said, yo.
You just gotta say everyone gets these jokes, bro. That's what you gotta say.
Yeah, no,
rappers, listen, comedians are new rappers, bro. That's
why
the
do
thing.
People come to my page, bro?
That's true.
I know what I'm saying.
You know what they say? Well, you don't think you're gonna happen next? Yeah, that's what they said to me, buddy. Well, you're next, buddy. You're fucking, you're laughing at this.
What Lil Wayne said publicly about being passed over, about what it means to kneel for one era and then be asked to perform for the same structure that marginalized you, he said it in his own words.
Because you don't got nothing.
I don't have it. There's no girls gonna come out.
Why you sound skeptical?
Because I think there are some women that are like, I think there's some women that are like,
this guy's supposed to be from Queens, bro.
Let me cook
fucked up experience.
You take him off the corner one time.
No. What I'm saying is I know a couple of exes that fucking throw me under the bus.
You should let him have the corner. None of this would have happened if you let him have the corner. Would have been fine.
You know there's some like opportunists. They'll just throw out the fucking.
But that's what I'm saying. You had to have something. Look, if you already interacted with the person, right, and you hadn't had a bad experience, it would take more for them to say some of the shit that you see these people say. Right? Like, you go, what made you do? What made you, even when we part ways, and because a lot of times when we interact with people, they're not just having fun for tonight. They think we're leading into this hardcore relationship that may not materialize. Right? So I see what you're saying, where they can look and go, well, look, you met the girl in 2003. You hung out with her. You had a good time after the show with 30 girls there. You just went and y'all hung out, right? And y'all just part ways. Right? So there's no negative things between it. But she can look up at the TV now, and you've been a success since then. Feel like that's my life. I was supposed to be there. And be upset with you and say something. But will it have any merit to it?
If I gotta keep
that
real,
woman hasn't been
you ain't always have the most amicable breakups. Do you remember where, I think it's your baby moms, where it's like she was kind of speaking out, and then all of a sudden the house just got burnt down.
Yeah, but you know, it happens. Left eye. She burned the house down.
This nigga is crazy.
No, my God, he goes, wow. So I know how you feel about me now. No, he's going, he's great. So he saw me like the match.
I want my block back.
He goes, look, I have faith in our just justice.
I'm a
I
civilian
believe
now.
there will be consequences connected to those behaviors and actions that this brother is talking about.
Oh my goodness, man.
Why is that a part of his thought process today while we're here having a good time?
That's a good ass point.
Look, you do have people that really, look, when you break up with them, they don't care about you anymore.
Yeah.
So they'll say things and you go, yeah, but it doesn't hold merit. It doesn't have any no real.
Yeah, of course. After all this years, and
like,
you don't see nothing. Yeah,
the girl that's just upset with you. She's just angry with you. She got you.
During the same period that the VMA lawsuit was dominating headlines, Jay-Z was photographed at the Mufasa premiere, the Disney film, with his family, composed, smiling, present. It was the kind of visual move that either signals genuine peace of mind or a very calculated understanding of how public image works. Commentators split immediately. Some called it a PR masterstroke, put your family in frame, look like a man with nothing to hide. Others said it was simply a man attending a film with his kids. But the timing was so precise relative to the news cycle that the internet treated it as a statement whether or not it was intended as one. The question that moment raised wasn't about guilt or innocence. It was about whether Jay-Z's public image is so carefully managed that even a family outing becomes part of the narrative architecture. And that question has no clean answer.
I thought the smartest thing Jay said in the statement was, if you really believe this happened, then press criminal charges. He said, pull up.
But I don't think that was...
Tell me.
Okay, look. Because of the statute of limitation, there is
there is no criminal. So it's a
so making a statement is to make people feel like.
But apparently, if she's under 18, didn't you say it still could be criminal? Yeah. He knows he's fed.
He used to be a cop. So you turned him into a cop. He used to sell drugs and then he became a police officer. Did you know that?
You said, how to rob.
He was a glorified security guard.
But you know what he would do? When they would arrest G-Unit guys, he would be like, yes. And he was in the court guilty.
Every time.
I was actually the cool one. I'll give you the extra fucking cheese sandwiches and shit like that. I'll be looking out.
Take care of the family.
Hey, you know, I don't know, man. I think, what's the name? I get confused too. When you look at this shit, it's a lot. It's a lot of confusing information, right? But I think when you do point out that, why didn't you file criminal cases? Because you can't. You can't. It's over 20 years old. This was 2000, bro.
No, but I think if it's a minor,
when they're saying this is happening, I'm not even 50 Cent yet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying? Like, this is that dates that far back.
Yeah.
So it's like, it didn't even take place at that point. So I'm like...
But then the conversation pivoted, and this turn matters because fairness requires it. Some of the loudest voices coming after Jay-Z in this cycle have had their own histories put under exactly the same lens. The question circulating through podcasts and comment sections wasn't just what Jay-Z may or may not have done. It was whether anyone in this specific conversation had the standing to cast that stone without someone immediately picking it up and throwing it back. That tension never got resolved. It rarely does when the story is this tangled.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough.
Real life. If that ain't real life,
It ain't real life. Just ain't real.
Real life street star. Know what time it is.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
We need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him. And so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other.
Here's the part people keep circling back to long after the headlines moved on. The legal strategy that came out of Jay's team following the voluntary dismissal of the 2024 civil lawsuit. Rather than simply taking the dismissal as a clean win and stepping away from the story, language emerged from Jay's camp suggesting the possibility of pressing criminal charges against those who filed the original civil case. That framing shifted the entire legal conversation. Commentators and legal analysts began breaking down the statute of limitations on the alleged 2000 VMA incident, what would actually be actionable, what window would apply, and whether any of the legal threats being floated were viable or primarily strategic in nature. As of this writing, no such criminal filing has materialized, but the language itself did exactly what legal language deployed in public is designed to do. It put the accusers on the defensive and reframed the story.